Magic is everywhere. It's all around you. It's constantly being created and cast around and thrown off of objects and matter and other people every day, whether or not you are aware that you're doing it and whether or not other people are aware of it. Magic is within you. You know, it's radiating beneath your skin, behind your eyes, and within your heart and mind. Magic is fun and alive and very effective, and it is a very powerful tool to really get what you want out of life. So, are you using your magic to get what you want? Hi, Keisha here of New World Tarot. Thank you for joining in. So we've arrived at another new moon, this time in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces is the sign of the fish, and it's a very mystical sign. And it's one of the 3 astrological signs ruled by the element of water. And it also marks the final sign in the astrological wheel of the year. You know, that's right, like spring is right around the corner. And with that, it's going to be time for the natural new year. So this is kind of, in many ways, a sign of the afterlife as well. And Pisces is all about our mystical selves. And it's about our extrasensory selves, you know, the things beyond our 5 senses. And it's about our connection to the parts of life that we have usually historically labeled the occult, you know. And it's just the uncanny things that we can't explain. You know, it's the secret knowledge that comes through. It's our dreams. It's our dance with the universe, our flow with the universe, our ability to really know and see and hear and do without using our eyes, our ears, or our hands. You know, it's our magic. And the new moon to me is a time to really create new intentions and start fresh and really rededicate ourselves to parts of our lives that may have kind of fallen by the wayside. Okay? So what is magic exactly? Magic is often described as the manipulation of energy, the manipulation of end results through paranormal or extra sensory or unnatural means, that sort of a thing. And sure, that definition works. But I kind of like to think about it a little bit more plainly. To me, magic is the energetic culmination of imagination, belief, and emotion. So to me, imagination, belief, and emotion equals magic. And when we kind of look at it this way, magic happens constantly, yeah? In fact, we're often casting magic towards things haphazardly, often towards things we don't want. For example, you know, when we worry and fear about things going wrong. So let's say, as an example, we have to give a speech, or you have a speech to give. So you imagine the speech going wrong vividly. You know, this is often referred to as worrying, where you actually visualize things going wrong over and over in your head, okay? You then convince yourself and believe that your speech will go badly, and you feel strong emotions, you know, of everything going wrong when you visualize. So, you know, so you start to imagine and visualize things happening, like sweating and passing out. And you start to feel the emotions of that happening, of sweating and passing out, and the fear and the embarrassment. And then you start to believe that you are indeed going to sweat and pass out when you go to give your speech, okay? And this kind of will loop around and feed itself, and you're constantly pushing this energy out into the universe. So you're literally casting this magic towards what you don't want. So what do you think is going to happen? All right. So now let's try to do that towards what we do want. So now let's visualize, you know, you have to do a speech. So now you visualize the speech going well. You close your eyes and you see yourself sort of just being comfortable and confident and having fun. You see yourself leaving the stage to a thunderous applause, and everyone's smiling at you and clapping. And you add that emotion of confidence and pride, and oh, that was actually fun. That wasn't too bad. It went by quicker than I thought. That sort of a feeling. And so then you do this, and this feeds off each other, and it loops, and you start to believe, you know what? Yeah, I got this. I am actually going to do well in this speech, and I am going to be confident, and it's going to go well. Everyone's going to really enjoy my speech, and I'm going to be, it's going to quickly be over, and I'm going to look at it fondly. So doing that also is creating magic. So what do you think will happen when you're putting out that sort of magic? And which magic would you prefer to put out? So if you take nothing else from this little video, please let it be this. Imagination plus emotion plus belief equals magic. You're going to really use your imagination to imagine and visualize getting what you want. And you're then going to add the feelings and emotions to that. And literally spend like 5 minutes a day doing this. Just put a little timer on your phone and just do it. Okay? So when you do the visualization and you add the emotions, for 5 minutes a day, when you're done with that, believe that you will have what you want. And if you struggle with the belief, then just say the words, to yourself. It doesn't have to be out to anyone. You don't have to worry about anyone laughing at you. It can be your secret. For example, in the public speaking example, I would say, I am a great public speaker. If I struggle with that statement, I can do what hypnotherapist Wendy Marin suggests in her book, Powerful Thinking on Purpose. She has an awesome way to kind of get around any sort of blocks that you may have. And this book's very quick and awesome read here. And she recommends that you add the phrase, I like the idea that. So going back to I am a great public speaker, I would say, I like the idea that I am a great public speaker. And start there, okay? Because that's truth. That's absolute truth. All right? So if you don't do anything else, remember, imagination plus emotion plus belief equals magic. So go out there and create magic. All right, now, the new moons are also a time of beginnings, and not everything has to be a serious dedication. This is also a good time to just dabble and play and try new things. And the new moon in Pisces can be a great time to really work on strengthening your intuitive and psychic powers, regardless of if you actually plan on using them for any particular reason. You can just have fun with this and just embrace a new experience. So 2 popular extrasensory powers that you probably have heard of are clairvoyance and claircognizance. Clairvoyance is when you see information psychically, and claircognizance is when you know information psychically. And there are a couple of fun ways to really train this. And 2 of these methods I actually got from another awesome little thin book called Enchantment Enchantment. The Witch's Art of Manipulation Through Gesture, Gaze, and Glamour by Paddon. All right, and this book is available on Amazon, and I just got it just literally for fun. And it's very, thin book, but it has all sorts of exercises to increase different abilities, okay? And one fun way is he suggests to kind of train being able to see energy and that sort of thing is actually to try to see your own aura. So we all have one, and even a scientist will tell you that we're all energy and that you give off an energetic field. So what you're going to do in this exercise is you're literally just going to take your hand, and you're not going to look directly at it, but you're actually going to place it off to the side, and you're going to look straight ahead, and you don't want to focus on your hand, but you want to actually just be able to see it out of just the peripheral vision. And you're just going to stare and look at the side of your hand. Nice. It helps if it's against something solid, like something like a dark wall or something like that. And without focusing on the hand, you're just going to look at the hand out of your peripheral vision, out of the side of your hand. And over time, eventually, what you'll see is you'll start to see an outline around your hand. And what's really cool is will begin to wave. And sometimes it'll be very long, sometimes it'll come back in, and it will obviously have a certain color to it. And every time I've done this, I can see it. It's really cool. And it goes out and it goes in like that. And the minute you focus on it, of course, you're not going to be able to see it. It has to be something that you're going to have to relax your gaze. But mine has usually been like a blue-green color, so I'm not really sure if that means anything historically. But it's a fun exercise to be able to see your aura. And of course, you can start to do this with other people as well. Gazing is another way to train clairvoyance. And I also saw this exercise in the same book. And you can use any somewhat translucent stone. And I actually went all out and got a crystal ball because number one, I've always wanted one initially, simply because they're really beautiful. And I also wanted it to be able to magnify my tarot card so that I can see all the details. And you know what? I'm thinking new moon in Pisces, you know, why not? So I'm going to, and I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. So obviously this is something that you can do in the full light of day, you know, with all the lights on. Or what I like to do is you can actually darken the room, like light a candle near it, behind it, you can position it, and this will create different shapes in the crystal and different colors. And you can really let your gaze go soft while you're looking into it. And you can blink, but you don't want to focus on the crystal. Again, you're just letting the gaze relax and kind of get a little bit soft and fuzzy. And now you want to have the intention to, you know, obviously want to visualize something that can happen, or simply, you know, see the answer to a question that you may ask. And the book actually recommends using it for visualization, creative visualization. So in other words, what I did is how I do it is I look into the crystal, and instead of doing this exercise with your eyes closed as you may be used to do, which you visualize your future self, I actually will keep my eyes open, soften the gaze, look into the crystal ball or into a handheld crystal if you don't want to go all out and get one of these, and think about seeing my future self. And the first couple times nothing really happened. And one time, you know, and I'm definitely not experiencing this at all, but I did this for a while. I'm going to say probably 20 minutes or so in the dark with a candle behind it. And the colors were absolutely beautiful. So I really enjoyed just staring into this. And suddenly it shifted into a scene, into like a microcosm of a scene. And it was the effing craziest thing. And it was a very cool and fun and magical experience. And actually kind of, it definitely correlated with I wanted to visualize myself where I would be in the future. And it totally made sense. And it was like absolutely amazing. And of course, as soon as I tried to focus on it a little bit, it went away. So, you know, very fun way to kind of train clairvoyance. Okay. So you can also train your claircognizance using divinatory tools, like such as oracle cards, tarot cards. Also be a great thing, you know, to try this new moon in Pisces. And, you know, if you don't want to use tarot and don't read tarot, you know, reach out to me. You know, I'm definitely taking tarot consultations constantly. Reach out to me at Keisha@newworldtarot.org and get your cards ready. Get some, you know, guidance on some of your questions, most certainly. And finally, dream work is another fantastic thing to try this new moon in Pisces. And your dreams can represent an absolute plethora of incredible information about you, what's going on around you, and yes, what may be coming up. And the easiest way to really tap into this is to keep a dream journal. Now, there's so much information on how to do this, and I highly, highly recommend a book called, I don't physically have it because I have it in digital format, and I actually have it in audio book format as well. But it's called Lucid Dreaming Made Easy by Charlie Morley. He's an absolute expert on the subject. It's so fascinating even if you don't go through all the practices. It's really, really amazing how your subconscious mind works and how it can help you with your life, you know, if you really are willing to work with it. And because it speaks in emotions, it speaks in memories, it speaks in dreams, you know what I mean? So it's all this stuff that happens at night, because it never shuts off, can really help you. But, you know, the first most basic step, even if you don't want to lucid dream per se, the most basic step is just getting started and just remembering and recording your dreams. And there are a couple ways to really do this. And the absolute easiest is just keep a journal and a pen right by your bed. And as soon as you wake up, like right before you even move, before you do anything, before you go to the restroom, you wake up, you get your pen, you get your journal, and you write down what you remember about your dreams. And you can actually very well have very, very fresh and vivid memories right when you wake up. It's actually very common, but it is easily dissipates and easily fades away very quickly. And I did that practice a few times. It is amazing how detailed, especially when I write it down, I can retain that. And it's nuts when I kind of can mull it over throughout the day, actually, to figure out what my brain is actually trying to tell me. And it can, it can be fun. It can be perplexing because you don't understand what's happening. But when things kind of do fall into place, you're like, oh, okay. You can kind of see things coming up. You can kind of see connections sometimes between maybe something that happened in your past that maybe you kind of shrugged off as no big deal, but apparently you're still maybe dealing with some of this stuff, and it's kind of affecting your waking life. So all sorts of things can happen when you actually work with your dreams and learn to record them. Okay? So have fun with some of these magical and intuitive practice this new moon in Pisces, all right? And before I go, I'd like to do a super quick 2-card bridge draw on how we can embrace some of the magic and intuition ourselves this new moon in Pisces. So I'm going to choose the Page of Cups here from the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks to use right now. And we're going to have the Page of Cups represent us as students of our subconscious mind, of students of magic, okay? And just ask, we have so much to learn. How can we as students really learn to use our extrasensory powers, our imagination, our dreams, our connection to the occult, okay? And representing that mastery of ourselves in that way, I've chosen the moon. And the moon card is, of course, a card of, traditionally often associated with fears, with subconscious activity and that sort of a thing. The unknown as well. And it also is associated to me with the occult, with magic, with witchcraft, with the, basically Pisces energy. In fact, Pisces is the ruling sign of the moon tarot card. Okay, so I'd like to do a quick shuffle and just ask, how can we just make a nice connection and a strong connection with that part of ourselves, with our own magic and our occult part of our lives to get what we want. Okay. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, all right, pulled in reverse. And we have the Five of Pentacles pulled in reverse. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to have this up on the screen for you. Okay, so in asking how we as students of the subconscious mind, of students of magic, students of the occult, can learn to really bring in more magic and more occult and just, have fun with this part and just bring this into our life more. We have the Knight of Pentacles pulled in reverse, and we have the Five of Pentacles pulled in reverse. Now, it is, interesting, these two cards, because obviously, these cards are often associated with the physical world, with the tangible objects, and often especially associated with money. However, I am, even again, just kind of using my own intuition. I kind of see these in a different way. Number one, these two cards are both pentacles, and they represent, to me, the physical, tangible world. And to me, it's about, and because they both came up reversed, especially, it's about releasing the dependence on our physical senses. And in fact, I'm just purely reading this intuitively. The Five of Pentacles reversed. Usually this card is associated with material, it's the Lord of material trouble, with material loss. But I am actually reading this completely differently for this particular question. I'm actually even thinking of the five senses. The five physical senses is how I kind of see this Five of Pentacles. And because it's come up reversed, it's kind of asking us to relinquish the dependence on our five senses. So, we're trying to bring in more magic into our lives. It's encouraging us to not depend on the physical world, to not depend on the five senses that we crutch so much on. And even the crutches in this picture, I see that as letting go of crutching on your five senses. I also kind of see, again, Pentacles reverse for both of these cards as embracing impracticality, because Pentacles is a very, very practical, level-minded suit that's all about, end results and all about being solid and having a good head on your shoulders and doing things that make sense and doing things for, you know, a good solid reason. And one way to actually make more time for magic and whatnot in your life is actually to let go of this drive to be sensible and to be, to have everything be for a solid reason. You have to have fun. You know, you have to learn to play, I guess, and to be open to being impractical, to having things be a little bit, you know, Alice in Wonderland a little bit, I guess, and just kind of be willing to, you know, gaze into a crystal for an extended period of time and maybe nothing happens. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you don't want to kind of view this in the same way that you're like, I have to do this so that I can have the solid skill. Like, that's not what it's about. It's about just playing with it and being willing to be a little bit illogical, you know, a little bit nonsensical for a time. And that's going to help you to bring this more magic into your life again. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you very much for joining me today for this new moon in Pisces vlog. And we will see you next time. Have a great week and take care. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. And we'll see you again. Thank you.